This is Reasonable Doubt with your hosts, Mark Garrigus and Gary Smith.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
It's excellent. I'm in New York, as you can see from the background, or it could be virtual. How are you, Gary? How are you?
I couldn't be better. I'm excited to get to spend some time with you.
So am I. I miss you. I'll be back this week, I hope.
Great. So,
okay.
So
the comments, by the way, Gary, I always want to talk about the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
There's people who are concerned about your skin color, I've noticed.
Yeah, I think that's a result of the lighting that I use here. You know, it starts to look a little bit more natural if I take that off, but I think it will.
And why are they always commenting on your serial killer proclivities? What is that all about?
It's because of my eyes, and it's because of the fact that this camera that I use here is an external camera, and it's sitting in front of my computer monitor. And if I go to search for anything, I start to look at other parts of the monitor, and then I look absolutely insane. So it's it's something.
Okay, so is that why they talk about eyelashes and makeup and serial killer? Where does all that stuff come from? It's kind of I don't know. I just read the comments and I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, that makes two of us. I certainly my family is worried as well. But the comments are, if they're not commenting, they're not listening. So I'll take it.
Okay, I like it. One of the things that I thought, did you see? I tweeted something that just irritated me, and it was about the E. Jean Carroll Donald Trump trial. For those who aren't in the weeds, she is suing Donald Trump. She was a writer, I think at the time, 20, 30, 40 years ago for Elle magazine. Remember that magazine?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely in the 90s. So yeah, it was probably 30-ish years ago.
Okay. And she apparently says she was it Bloomingdale's?
I believe it was Bergdorf Goodman's, which is is a New York local place. Yeah,
retail place. He supposedly fingered her and then big bang bonged her.
Apparently, yeah.
She classifies it as rape. He says that she isn't his type. He also apparently in his deposition identified her or Marla Maples as one and the same. So that was kind of unique, or a fact that you probably will see in the trial.
And if we harken back to our time with Adam, we established that maybe
so on the left is her
circa 1990s, around the time, best I could estimate, around the time of the allegation, and then his other wives over the years.
Then there's Trump. That's modern day Trump. Then there's his late great first or second wife.
I believe that's the first one there in the middle.
Okay. Then there's Marla, right?
Yep.
And then Melania.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So apparently he identified, you want to put it back up there for a sec?
Oh, sure. Sorry about that.
So I don't know if these were the exact pictures, but they were shown. And apparently E. Jean Carroll on the left, he confused with second from the right Marla Maples. And the reason they asked him about this is because he said that on the left, E. Jean Carroll wasn't his type.
Right.
Did I get it?
You did. You absolutely got it right. Yeah, that's what he's claiming.
E. Jean Carroll on the left. Do we have a picture of her, modern day E. Jean Carroll?
How
she looks?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, because she's been walking to the courthouse with her lawyer. She's got a great lawyer. It's from the Hecker firm, I believe. And she walks in. She's usually got her arm around the lawyer. And
it's coming up right now.
Very supportive. And they're in a southern district of New York. There you go. There's her lawyer on the left. Not sure that I recognize who's on the right. That's strapping young man. And that's her in the middle. She testified, was on the stand this week, saying that he shoved his fingers where they didn't belong, and then shoved himself where he didn't belong, and was cross-examined vigorously, my term, by Taco Joe
Yes.
Tacopina, who got into it, or at least the judge insinuated himself into the cross-examination, saying that, the reason I tweeted something, I don't know if you've got it, Gary, but it was particularly irksome. Somebody in the New York Times wrote a story about it and had maybe one of the most inane comments I've ever seen buried into a mainstream media article, which was, can you read it, Gary? Because I don't have the glasses
yeah,
on.
Judge just dismisses jury in Trump rape trial for the day. And your comment was, who wrote this? Lawyers questioning witnesses are supposed merely to elicit facts that will help their case. But the judge criticized Mr. Tacopina for asking a witness to agree to an interpretation or characterization of the evidence.
By the way, I don't know. I don't have the transcript. I don't know what was said. I don't know what the judge was said, but I will tell you that characterization is not only false, it's completely misleading. That the whole purpose of cross-examination is to ask the witness a question that can be arguably argumentative. In fact, I always make the rebuttal when somebody objects to my cross-examination that it's argumentative. My response is, I'm on cross. That's, the whole purpose of cross is to be classically argumentative and to test the story that was elicited on direct. It's not to just develop facts that support your case. That's the most idiotic statement. I don't even know how that made that past any editor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I read a few articles that also pointed out that the judge more than once kind of interrupted Taco Joe's flow and sort of, maybe put him a little bit on his heels as a result, because the jury, whether they're aware of it or not, they will. This person who I was reading was opining that the interruption by a neutral judge will lead jurors to assume that the defense attorney is doing something wrong.
Right. And, in federal court, this happens a lot more than state court. It's one of the problems with federal court. By the way, it's one of the reasons that large corporations, the government, all of those moneyed interests always want to remove cases to the federal court, because presumably they believe that federal judges will carry their water. It's not always true, but in a lot of cases, when they get in the middle of the cross-examination, or when they say you've been spending too much time in state court, it really is an outrage and shouldn't be countenanced. I don't care what your position is. Why is it on a case that is decades old and you're testing the memory of somebody who's making an accusation and can't tell you what day it happened or what month it happened, let alone maybe even what year it happened? Why you can't test that and be a little argumentative? Excuse me, but that's why we have statutes of limitations. And just because because it was politically expedient, decided to pass a quote unquote look back statute, to me does not give you the ability to also violate ex post facto, but now repeal the Sixth Amendment right to cross-examination on top of it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and my understanding is that it was in the middle of Joe's cross that the judge suspended the trial, and it will pick back up on Monday. Is that correct?
It's exactly what I've heard. We're going to do a deeper dive on Tuesday. This trial, for a lot of reasons, not the least of which the fact that it was allowed to go forward in the middle of the presidential campaign. Mind you, I'm not a Republican. So for those who think that, I'm carrying somebody's water, I'm also not a fan of Trump. I am a fan of due process. This is not due process by any stretch of the imagination. I like the lawyers that E. Jean Carroll has got. I think they're exceptional lawyers, and they're finding an opening and they're going. I'm not a fan of what's happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing we will probably want to dive into a little bit later in the next week is some developments out of the case in Boston from around New Year's.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit to talk about there. We may have one of the authors or reporters on to talk about that as well. Get some of the facts, get that out there. What are you doing this week, Gary?
So,
what have you done this week? Tell me what you've done.
Oh, so this week I've been focused largely on LA Mag projects. I've been working on the LA Mag YouTube channel, which I would encourage everyone to go subscribe to. It's youtube.com/Los Angeles Magazine videos. We're putting up, shorts. We're putting up longer content. We're putting up obviously the Brian and Gina show, which we've recorded several episodes of this week, and just more to come. I've also been working on a spec sizzle for a new podcast that one of our employees is hoping to pitch to management over there. So we got a lot in the works.
No, and do we have a sponsor for today?
We do. Our sponsor, as usual, is Alex and Ani. And let's see here. I have some visual, but Alex and Ani is a beautiful brand of luxury jewelry, very affordable. I've bought some for my wife, our own Gina Grad. One of the videos that I posted this week that I believe I sent a copy to you was Gina highlighting some of the pieces, both that she has gotten as gifts, one from you, and also that she has purchased herself. She talks a lot about how when she was on her honeymoon, she was in Maui and they had Hawaii specific Alex and Ani pieces that you could only buy there. And she bought them for herself and all of the mothers in her life, her mother, her mother-in-law. And I would encourage everyone as Mother's Day approaches to go to alexandani.com. That's Alex, ALEXANDANI.com. That's how you spell Ani. So alexandani.com. It's great for any time, but especially with Mother's Day approaching. I would encourage everyone to check it out.
Mother's Day's coming up. I'll get some for all the mothers in my life.
Absolutely, as will I.
You got it. Thanks, Gary. I'll see you on Tuesday. No, I'll see you Bard Sunday.
Absolutely. All right, Mark. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Reasonable Doubt. Subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/Reasonable Doubt Podcast.